Today we're going to change the headlight gear in a 1994 Chevy Corvette C4. This will work for all C4s. And the problem is, if you could watch here, the light goes up. You hear that? The gear is just spinning. And sometimes the light doesn't go up. And when it goes back down, the gear is just spinning and stopped. So what happens is the plastic gear inside there gets stripped after use. I mean, the car is almost 20 years old. So we're gonna go replace it. Here's everything we're gonna use today. Regular pliers, needle nose, a flathead screwdriver, hammer. Got your vice grips, a 1/4-inch nut driver, Torx, your normal ratchet with a 10mm and an extension, and this is a 9/64 bit, and a hammer and grease. And that is all you need for today to do this job completely. So if we're going to be working on this all day long, what we're going to want to do is what I already did, but disconnect the engine lights. So here's where the engine lights connect on each side, because then you'll just drain your battery. So they're disconnected right now, and that is exactly what you want to do. Disconnect them, and then you can reconnect them very easily. Just take that, they snap right in, and then your light is on. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the assembly, but before we remove the whole headlight assembly, we want to disconnect the power to the headlights. Just lift it up and pull it out. No need for pliers or anything here, or a screwdriver. There you go. Now that that's connected, we can move on to the next step of removing the whole assembly. Here's what the assembly looks like. This is the assembly. Here's the headlight. Here's the motor right next to it, and the gear inside there. So we're gonna remove that, and down here there's two, and then over here there's this right here, and that right there. So all of those removed will take that whole headlight assembly out, and then we could get to the gear on a workbench. The first ones we're gonna get off, alright, on the left side here. Okay, and we will use a 10mm ratchet with an extension so we can get in here. So those are the first two that you'll be removing. The next two are at the bottom. Also 10mm. Be sure you don't hit your paint with your ratchet when you do this. Be very careful, take your time, no need to rush. So that's one. And that is two. Now we're going to get to these two bolts right here. Problem is that they have thread sticking out. You can see right here. The thread actually comes out past the bolt. Right there. So your short 10mm won't fit in there. So you have to get a longer one. So we have two different types right here. top one is the short one, bottom one's the longer one. This is an extension. We're going to use an extension on the 10mm compared to the small short one. So we're connecting it right up there. Okay, and then we get that bottom one right there. So we want one hand unscrewing it and the other hand holding the light assembly so it does not drop. Remember, the light assembly is painted. We don't want to get it damaged. I want to be very careful. So we're going to be holding it like this under here. You can see all the movement. We got this unscrewed. And now we're going to be careful, and the assembly will come out just like that. Super careful. The whole thing will come out because we unplugged it. Make sure you unplug it in the beginning. So now that's how you get the assembly out. And here we go, nice assembly. Next part is going to be how to get the motor open and get the bushings changed, as well as that gear in there. So this actually gives you a really good idea of what we took apart here. You can see here, the bottom, and the sides. And I actually have it laid out right here for you, so you can see the two sides, the bottom, two sides. So there you go. That's what you need to unscrew to get the whole unit off. So what we want to do now, that's what we want to get to, and there's the gear. You can see there's 1, 2 right there, and 3 bolts to get that off. Here's the motor, and so here's how the headlight's situated, so you can see how we're going to work. This spinny thing up here to adjust the headlights is up. So this is the side view. What we're going to do is get our Torx wrench right here and find the right size to fit in this first side one right here, and we're going to loosen it. To get this other side off right here. On the side you can see where it goes into. There's a hex. We're going to get that one off. Again, being very careful with your paint. Do not want to scratch anything. Okay, there we go. So again, I like to situate the bolts and screws the way it came out, kind of where it is. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing here, just so you don't lose track of where everything goes. So this came in, it goes in that way, that goes in that way, and it's kind of like same area, so it's easy to figure out where it came from. So now there's one more bolt. We got that one off, we got the top one here off, and then there's the bottom one right down here. It's on this side, but as you can see, it is being blocked. Now I have 2 blocks of wood, because we're going to hammer out this pin right here so that we could get to that and pull off this whole motor system right here. Because then we need to get to that last one down here so that we could get this cover off. So here's a 9/64 bit. It actually fits really well. I'm just going to hammer this out halfway. All we need to do is hammer it halfway so that this in here could come right out. So that will be far enough out. Hammered the pin. See it? It's about halfway out. Now we're gonna, in order to get access to this, we're going to unscrew that right there, and you'll be able to see it on the same plane. There it is, right in there. It's not in focus. Come on. Anyway, you want to get in there. Now this, unfortunately, does not reach, so it's no problem for this one up here. But what I'm going to do is actually use a flathead screwdriver that fits perfectly. You want to be very careful not to strip it, but it'll be able to undo it from that with using a flathead instead of using the Torx, because my Torx doesn't fit. So we'll do that right now. We just want to loosen these so that we can lift it up. We don't have to undo it all the way if we don't want it. Just loosen them. You know. If you need to, adjust the headlight motor, which in this case I could do the opposite way, so that we can get to the bolt in here. There we go. Beautiful. Now that that's nice and loose, the motor moves. So get this, those two bolts cause the motor to now, you see how that's loose? So now I can get in here where it was used to be like that and I can't get in there. Now I can lift it up just a little bit to get in there. So now that's what I'm gonna do. Go right in there and loosen that last bolt so that I can finally get this off. Get this. I actually move the headlight motor. Move the headlight because it's in the way. I don't want to scratch. This is probably the hardest part of the whole thing so far. Getting to this one right here. It's just in a tight area. I mean, maybe if you had a Torx like screwdriver or a Torx, something to put into a ratchet so you could get it at an angle, it'd be a lot easier. That'd be my recommendation. There we go. Got it out. Now we take 1/4 of an inch nut driver or ratchet, your choice. Just unscrew these. There's 3. 1, 2, 3. And let's see what the damage is. I'm guessing half of it is going to be messed up. Wow, you can see, clearly see, there's shavings everywhere. Look at that. Let's go in and take a look at it. So there are shavings, and that means the gear is bad. So now off to replace the gear. And we're going to replace this gear with a nice new bronze gear. Heavy duty, won't wear out. So we're going to just pop the pin out all the way. Set it up like this again. Pop the pin out. This comes right out like that. Okay? So now we're gonna push this motor out here. And there we go. There's the motor. Gear. Let's back this up. So that's the motor gear. You can see stripped pretty good. Over here it's not bad. Over here pretty good. Over here it gets worse. So, and we'll get the new one right here. And we're gonna put that in now. We're gonna want to clean out everything in here. Get it cleaned really good. There's a lot of grease and little pieces of plastic. And there's there's 3 washers. You don't want to move. Keep them in there. And just clean this out. Try to get as much as you can. The more stuff you get out, the better she'll run. So we're gonna get this. Whew, look at that. That is destroyed on the inside. Look at this. So that's all your plastic gear that's stripped. So I'm actually going to go and bring this to the sink and wash it off. Now we're going to go and grease everything up. So get your high temperature grease. Grease inside here. Take your bushings. You want to grease up your bushings and place them inside, right there. More. That's all nice and greased. And we're going to take some grease, grease that up. Now you don't want to go overboard with the grease, but you do want to get it so it's on there pretty good. Grease the inside. Okay. And final greasing of the gear. So we add grease to this. And just go and grease all the way around. You don't need a thick layer. So after you're done greasing, we could actually throw some grease on this as well. So, right where the bushings are going to sit, throw some grease on there. Okay, so this goes, you can see how it fits right in. So this goes here. Push that in. With the metal one, you might have to put a little pressure on it so that you could clamp down and push it all the way down. Just like that. It actually goes down pretty deep in there. Okay, now you can feel it's nice and solid. So this is what the pressed piece looks like. Just a little bit of a lip. This sticks all the way out. Get your washers on here, washers on there. So it goes in. Wiggle it a little bit, slides in like that. Get this on like that. Okay, beautiful. So now let's screw this in. Now we do everything opposite. So everything we just, at this point you've completed everything. You know what to do. Everything is just the opposite. So you go back, you get your 1/4 inch, and you tighten everything down. Now with all this stuff, you don't need to be like Superman and tighten it like way too much. Just get it so it's snug. So you're done putting the bushing in. reattaching the motors, exact same thing except opposite. So you want to line up where the bolts are going to go in, and also where the pin goes in for this. So put that in. There we go. Okay. So now we want to align the sides. Perfect. So you could actually just line everything up by sight. And we'll put the big bolt back in on the bottom, just so that it is in, and we don't have to tighten it down very much, just get it so it's slightly snug for now, because I'm sure we're going to have to align stuff and move stuff around. Next thing, we could do the bottom ones. Let's get this other one in here. And let's try to get the bottom one in. This is going to be the pain. This is the one that was the pain that we loosened everything. It's actually not that bad. So you can actually see right here. Put it in right there. I'm actually using a screwdriver that fits the star of the hex very nicely. Okay, so now that all three are in, we could snug down this one and then snug down the other two, and then we'll get the pin in. And when we hammer the pin in, we want to be careful because we want to make sure that it's on the block of wood, so we're not hammering and breaking the fiberglass surrounding the frame. Let's get these two that hold the mount that we had to loosen so we could get to that bottom nut. So that's snug. Let's get this one right here, nice and snug. That's snug. Good. And then that bottom one right here we loosen. Again, get it nice and tight. This is actually what mounts the motor and the whole housing to the hood of the car, so we want it pretty tight on these two. And that's good. Everything's snug. Now we're gonna hammer back the pin right here. We can see the pin. We're gonna hammer it back in. So there's the pin. Let's hammer the pin back in. Same thing as before, check to make sure you have a clear line. I'm actually going to do it opposite, so you can see this. The hole's right here, push the pin in. So here's the hole, you can see through it. And push the pin in through that. Okay. Gently take your bit that you used before. Try to get it to go in straight. That'll be key. It's going to be tough. It's not being very... There we go. Now we should be able to punch in. And we want this to go all the way down so it's snug. Beautiful. So it's flush against the side. Beautiful. Okay. So now that's nice and it's almost flush. It has a little bit sticking out, but I can feel it on the other side starting to come out a little bit, so it won't be exactly flush. You could push it out a little bit more. It doesn't matter. It's more than halfway through. That's not going anywhere. So that is done. So that wasn't that bad, actually. Tuck your wires back in the way they were. These things spin around. You don't want them grabbing anything. And let's go put it back in the car. Now putting it back on the car again, alignment is going to be key. So I'm going to grab 2 bolts first, the nuts of the bolts, and going to put this up to show you guys. That's the bottom, that's the side and side. So flip this like this. So that's how it's going in, okay? Just like that. You got your connector on the side. So that's the bottom down right here. See that? That's one bottom, the other bottom is right there. And then your side with your motor, then your other side right there. Be super careful here. This is going into the car. There's painted objects. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to take a bolt for each side. Don't even snug it, just get it on so it doesn't fall. So remember, there's 2 here, 2 here, and 2 at the bottom. And then we're going to go and turn this completely closed, because that's what the light is right now. It's completely closed. So we're actually going to do that right now. I'm actually opening it. So turn it the other way. And now you can really see it's working real well. It's not slipping. Every turn I'm making, it's going. And so we're going to close this so the lights are off position. And we do that just by spinning the knob up here. Okay, the light is in the completely closed position. We'll worry about aligning it later. Let's go and get the rest of our materials here. Okay, so we got our screws, our nuts, 10mm again. So do not tighten everything completely. You want it to be loose so that we could fiddle around with it and get it aligned. The key is going to be alignment. I'm really stressing alignment because that's going to dictate how this light looks. You can sort of feel it fitting into place too, which is kind of cool. Let you know you're like doing something right. And you can see the marks that it made, and you could try to get it aligned to those marks, because those marks are from previously installation from when it was probably brand new. I don't think it's ever had a change of anything for this unit here. So try to match up the lines on that, and then just get it a little bit snug, because we're matching lines now. Just a little bit. And now we go to the other side, and we do the same exact thing. So now we're going to go to the top corner here. We're going to get the other nut on. Okay. And then we're going to hand tighten the bottom ones. So I'll show you where those are in a second. Okay, those are in. So here's all 4 spots. I'm going to go through it right now. So we're looking right at the light in a closed position. We got 2. 1, 2. That's on the left side. Then under here, we have 1 here and 1 there, tightening up. Then on the other side, we have 1 here and 1 down there. So we're gonna snug it up now and check. The other thing we wanna do, after we snug it up, we wanna check alignment. We wanna make sure, you see how this isn't aligned? So we'll tighten up the light a little bit, or loosen it, using that knob thing on the side. Let's take a look real quick. You see how this is out? It's kind of hard to see with the reflection, but the headlight is out. So what we're going to do is turn this knob. Okay, that knob right there on the top, you turn it both counterclockwise and clockwise to adjust the light. So I'm going to adjust it from the inside and you guys could watch from the outside. We want it to be nice and flush. So that's counterclockwise, that's going out. So we want to turn it clockwise. Keep going. A little bit more. And you don't want to over tighten it either. Okay. There you go. So that looks really smooth. And then we're also going to take a look here. I need to clean it off because I got some of my fingerprints on it. But that looks perfectly aligned. Okay. Now for the moment of truth. Oh, actually, before we do moment of truth, because I'd turn the knob and nothing would work. We want to reconnect our electricity. So take it, put it in. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but okay, it's doable. Push each side nice and firm till it snaps, and we're ready to go. So has all our hard work paid off today? Let's see. Light goes up completely. Beautiful. Let's see, it goes back down. Nice. Light sounds really strong. Everything's functioning perfectly. Goes up and goes down, no grinding, no excess motor running, so you don't hear the motor running after it's completely down. And that is a job well done. So that's how you take care of a 1994 Corvette specifically, but this will work for any C4 Corvette. 1984 to 1996. Any Corvette. So, left the hood open. Make sure everything is good. And we are done.